Tantor Audio presents Axel by Harper Sloan. Narrated by Abby Creighton and Sean Kristen. Prologue. God, please let him be late. Traffic? Boss needed help? Hell, at this point, I would even pray for his shoe being untied. Anything to give me just 5 extra minutes. Taking a frustrated breath, I remember that I gave up pleading to the heavens years ago. 10 years, to be exact. The day he walked out of my life. The day the sun stopped shining and my world turned gray. The day my dreams turned into nightmares. I miss my dreams. I miss the sun, and I miss him so fucking much, even though I know I shouldn't. After all, what good does it do to miss a ghost? Come on, I silently begged the light to change. Why is it that the only time I'm running late, every single light catches me? Fuck, just fucking change. I just know if I am not home in the next 10 minutes, all hell will break loose. Finally, as soon as the light turns green, I slam on the gas. All I need to do is hurry and everything will be fine. Right? I roll into the driveway at 5:45, throw the car in park and rush into the house. Thankfully, I had enough foresight when I left earlier to start the slow cooker. Okay, I mutter to myself while rushing around the kitchen island to the table. If I don't hurry... Nope, I can't go there. There would cause me to lock up in fear, and cutting it this close, I can't lock up. Deep breath is... Just breathe. I remind myself, setting the bowls of chili down. As quickly as I can manage, I set the table, making sure the glasses are spot-free and the silverware is perfectly aligned. I am not going to make those mistakes again. Rushing back to the kitchen, I make sure I've washed and dried all the cookware and signs of my slow cooker use. I have just enough time to make sure that my face, as he so lovingly calls it, doesn't look like I just rushed my duties. At 6:05 on the dot, I hear the garage door rolling up. Breathe. A few moments later, he walks in. Of course, he would never run late. God forbid he would make it home a minute past his normal scheduled time. The world might end, the sky might fall, and pigs might start flying. No, not my husband. He is never off his game.
Good evening, Isabel. How was your day?
He asks while unloading his arms of his coat, briefcase, and keys. He makes sure his coat is hung perfectly. Wrinkles wouldn't dare mess with him. Even they know not to poke the bear. After he disposes of his cell, wallet, and other pocket shit, he finally looks up at me with his cold, dead eyes. Permission to speak has silently been granted. Good evening, Brandon. Things were normal as always today. Did some laundry, ran the errands you asked me to do, and got home around 3. I know you said your parents are thinking of coming this weekend, so I wanted to make sure I had enough time to get the spare room situated before I started dinner. Lies. All lies. Just enough to hopefully make him think I wasn't out. He states while rolling his sleeves up.
So,
He looks up with his evil smirk and those dead eyes.
that wasn't you I just saw speeding down Oak Street like the bats of hell were on your bumper, Isabel.
Fuck me. Brandon, I swear it's not what you think, I squeak out. Shit, this is going to be bad. Dee stopped by. She's in town and just wanted to say hi. Catch up a little. I haven't seen her in 6 months. His smile stops me cold. Immediately, I start backing away. Oh, shit. I know that look.
Now, Isabel. What have I told you about Denise, If I remember correctly, it was something along the lines of you are not to talk to, call, or take calls from her, and you're definitely not to fucking see her.
He's stepping closer now. Frantically, I look around for an escape, but he's blocking my only exit.
You have been told, and I would have thought you learned this lesson 6 months ago. Isn't that how long you said it's been? What do I need to do for you to get it through your dumb fucking head? Jesus Christ, you're a stupid fucking bitch.
His eyes are so cold as he steps right into my space.
What part of you being mine, and only mine, did you not understand the last time I was forced to explain this to you? I will not share you with fucking anyone. Do you hear me, Isabel?
He sneers my name like its very presence on his tongue disgusts him. I've hit panic mode now. He has me backed into the wall, no escape in sight.
No fucking person in this goddamn world is allowed you. Only fucking me.
He continues berating me, his eyes bugging out and his spit hitting me in the face.
You're nothing but a stupid fucking slut. Isn't that right, Isabel? I should have walked the other way that night at fire. I should have known a bar slut from a mile away, but no. It's all your fault my dick wouldn't walk the other way.
He rears back and slaps me hard across my cheek. I squeeze my hands into fists, digging my nails into my palms to keep from screaming out. I can feel the blood running down my neck from the cut his ring must have caused on my jaw. I may be stuck, but I'll be damned if I will let him break me.
What did I fucking say, Isabel? No, Denise. No afternoons chatting like little fucking bitches. You're to be here cleaning my fucking house, cooking my fucking dinner, and spreading your fat fucking thighs for my dick.
He reaches out and grabs a bowl of chili, throwing it with all his strength against the wall. I watch chunks of meat, beans, and sauce run down my happy yellow walls.
What in the fuck is this shit? I told you, you fucking bitch, I wanted lasagna. Does that look like lasagna?
I should have seen it coming, but my attention was still focused on my happy yellow walls and the globs of dinner rolling down. I was just turning back to him when his fist hit my temple, momentarily making my vision blur. At least that seems to have knocked some sense into my sluggish brain. I dart to the right, quickly trying to escape the second fist I know will soon be following. Too late, always too late. I catch the second one in the ribs, knocking the breath right out of my lungs. Brandon grabs my thick hair, and with a twist of his wrist, I'm right back at his mercy. Mercy I know he doesn't have. Throwing me into the hallway with what feels like the strength of 10 men, he's quick to follow with a kick to my stomach.
You stupid bitch. You just can't listen. I own you, all of you. No one else. No one else touches what is mine, especially not fucking Denise. I warned you what would happen. No, I promised your dumb ass what would happen if you went near her again.
Kick, slap, punch, kick.
You're never going to learn, are you?
He's panting with exertion, and it's taking everything I have not to let the blackness overcome me, even if I know numbness would be following quickly. I lose track of how long he stands over me, screaming and beating, alternating between his feet and his fist. Freedom. That's all I crave now. I close my eyes and pass out. When I wake up, the house is dark. Every bone, muscle, and hair on my head hurts. I can't take a deep breath without wanting to die. I can feel wetness on various parts of my head and body. Fuck. It's never been this bad. I can't hear anything out of my left ear. What the hell happened to my ear? Fuck, I need to move. Clutching my arm around my middle, I slowly climb to my feet. I take a look around out of my very swollen eyes and see that dinner is still sitting on the table. The broken bowl, chili dried to the wall, and even the spotless cups are sitting there mocking me. With a slow and silent step, I glance into the living room. No sign of Brandon. Shuffling, more like dragging myself to the kitchen, I see that his keys are gone. Holy shit, he's not here. Never, not once in 6 years, has he left me alone in the house after a lesson. I walk along the wall, holding on for support until I reach my purse. Unzipping the side zipper, I reach in and take out my phone. The phone Brandon doesn't know I have. I'm not allowed to have a phone, and he disconnects the house phone and takes it with him when he leaves. I can barely see enough to turn the phone on. I slide my finger across the screen and unlock it. Finally, after a few wrong buttons, I place the call. Hello? Hello, Is? Is, are you there? Is everything okay, Is? I can hear her. She's practically screaming, but I can't get the words out. She knows I wouldn't be calling this late. Hell, she knows I wouldn't call at all. I take a shallow breath and rasp out the only word I need to bring my salvation. Help. Then the blackness pulls me under. Chapter 1. I haven't always been this weak person, this broken woman. I used to dream, and when I did, I dreamt big. I had plans of a future so bright it would blind you. I can still remember the day those dreams, those grand plans and that future as bright as the sun went poof. I just didn't know it at the time. At the time, I thought everything would be okay. After all, what 17-year-old girl doesn't think she's invincible? That, coincidentally, was the same day I decided fate hated me. No, she didn't hate me. She loathed me. People say that karma is a bitch, but I have news for you. Karma doesn't have anything on fate when she is after blood. Not a single thing. I wish I knew what it was that set fate on the path of my doom. Maybe it was just being born. I like to think I was at least okay there. My parents loved me. They prayed for me, and I was everything to them. So no, I don't think that was the day. Or it could have been the day I stole Maggie Jones's pudding cup. But Maggie was a bully, never nice and always stuffing her face. So I like to think I did her a favor. I once stole a chocolate bar from the grocery store, but seriously, fate would have been after every little teenage shit if that were the case. Point fingers all you want, but where I come from, it's like a rite of passage. No, I think fate decided she hated me the day I walked into Dale High School freshman year, and my path collided with Axel's. It would make sense that the reason she hated me was the reason for all my pain, the reason I'm convinced fate will never shine in my favor again. Why would she? She took it all away, wiped out every single thing I have ever loved in one swift kick. One day, I might figure it out, the reason fate hates me, Isabel West. But until that day, I damn sure will be careful with my dreams and my plans, my heart and my soul. Fate might hate me, but that doesn't stop me from hoping that one day she forgets about her favorite chew toy. When that day comes, I hope karma has some fun with that bitch fate. 2 years later, I can feel the sun warming my skin. I love this blissful state between sleep and just waking up. It reminds me of being numb. You haven't hit the switch to turn on your mind, giving it permission to process and remember. You are just there. I love waking up, feeling the sun warming my skin. It reminds me that I am alive and surviving. I sigh and roll over in bed, laughing when I see the stupid body pillow dressed like a man with an oddly lifelike face drawn on the top. Dee insisted that I needed it in my life. Her theory was that if I didn't want a man, at least I wouldn't sleep lonely, whatever that meant. I stopped trying to understand all that is Dee years ago. She has been my best friend for the last 11 years. She's the sister I never had, and I know without a doubt in my mind that she would always have my back. We met when I was 18 and pissed at the world. She was bopping all over the room during freshman orientation, smiling at everyone who would look at her. She took one look at me and decided that we would be the best of buds. I think she saw the broken soul inside me, and with her infectious happiness decided she would be my medication. She was by my side with every up and every down, and trust me, there were a lot of downs. She was my biggest cheerleader and supporter, and she single-handedly brought light back into my life. She picked me up when I had fallen, dusted me off, and helped me heal. She did it again 2 years ago, no questions asked. She dropped everything, ran to my rescue, and helped me heal again. We had lost that sisterhood for a little while when I was married to Brandon. It wasn't easy, but I was able to keep in touch with her with stolen calls and secret meetings. I knew she worried. She knew things weren't good at home, but Dee, being Dee, came with a smile and the knowledge that if I needed her, she would be there. And she hadn't lied. She dropped everything and ran with one word. I know she feels somewhat guilty for introducing us. It's unjustified, but it is there. I can see it sometimes in her eyes when we would be spending time together with a few bottles of wine between us. She hides it well, I will give her that. But I know my girl, and with a heart that big, she can't help it. I met Brandon when I was 21, carefree and looking to numb my world with drinking and parties. He was the first man I gave a second glance to after Axel. It had been almost 4 years, and I was ready to try and love again. Oh, how blind I was. Brandon was on the outside perfect. He was a few years older than me, and had already graduated from the University of North Carolina and established himself with his father's accounting firm. He was successful and quickly on his way to even bigger things. He wasn't overly tall, just shy of 6 feet, with a lean runner's body, sandy brown hair, and brown eyes. He was the perfect boyfriend, showering me in romance, extravagant vacations and gifts, always showing up to take me on surprise trips, doing all the little things we always think makes a man perfect. 6 months after we met, the perfect boyfriend became my fiancé, and 4 months later I became Mrs. Brandon Hunter. Then the Brandon I had met and fallen in love with slowly changed. Gradually, he began distancing me from my family, friends, and most importantly, Dee. He knew of all the bonds I had, that hers was the strongest. I became a prisoner in my own life. I know my grandparents worried, but he was slick and always came up with the perfect reason we couldn't come, or, when the rare occasions came that we did, he was always called home for some reason. Tea was harder for him to brush off, but he did, or at least he thought he did. He was good, I'll give him that. The master of control and manipulation. And he downright terrified me. The beatings didn't start until we had been married for about 2 years. I went to see Dee when I was supposed to be picking up his dry cleaning. I missed my best friend, and I had honestly thought I could be in and out before he noticed. But Brandon Hunter noticed everything. They weren't bad at first. A slap here and there for whatever offense he deemed beat-worthy. Eventually, though it didn't take much, I could sneeze, and if he didn't like it, I was sporting a black eye the next day. He had played his hand right, and I was well and truly stuck, cut off from those I loved and so terrified of his wrath I wasn't going anywhere. Those are the years I prayed and prayed for Axel to find his way back to me. Every single horrible day I was at the receiving end of Brandon's fist. I tried to take myself to another place, to a place where Axel was ready to take me away and be my hero. But I eventually had to face the facts. My hero was gone. Closing my eyes, I think back to the time my life was the happiest. 12 years ago, to be exact. I can't believe this is our last night together for 6 months. I'm going to miss you so much, baby. I look up into his bright green eyes. God, I love his eyes. I think I would be happy to just sit here and look at his handsome face for hours. Get lost in him. How will I make it without him? This boy I love more than anything. I lay my head back down on his warm chest, feel his strong heart beating under my ear. I've known this beautiful boy since I was 14, and Axel has been the love of my life for the last 3 years. Not a day has gone by without him in it. How am I going to go just 1 day without him? Never mind 6 months.
Babe, quit. It will be over before you know it now. I'll be back to get my girl. I hear him rumble under my ear. He knows exactly what is running through my mind. We've been lying here in this tiny twin bed for hours, just getting lost in each other. I know he hates being in this house. His foster family isn't a bad foster family. Well, as far as they come, I guess. He might as well be a meal ticket for them, but they leave him alone. I get the impression that they are counting down the seconds before he leaves for basic training, and they get his body out and a new one in. They wouldn't want their check to be short. Greedy assholes. His foster parents have never liked me. I don't think I will ever understand why, but Axel thinks it's because I've been around the last 3 years, taking up space and eating their food. Who knows? I just can't wait for him to be free of them.
I can't believe my beautiful boy is leaving for the Marines tomorrow. Marines? God, Axe is really leaving. I haven't let myself think about what could happen to him when he leaves. Axel was born a fighter, a survivor. Nothing would happen to him, and I just had to believe that. He starts to shift under me, sliding out from under my body and rolling onto his side to face me. I look into his bright, twinkling eyes again, smiling up at him. He really is perfect. Thick, messy black hair sticking up in disheveled waves from me, running my hands through it. His strong cheekbones and powerful jaw always remind me of how ruthless he can be. I run my finger down his perfectly straight nose, and then run it along the thick lips I love to get lost in, tracing first the top and then the bottom. His lips twitch, and that lazy grin I love so much pops onto his face.
What are you thinking about, Princess?
God, Axe, just about how much I'm going to miss you. You promise to come back to me? I ask him, the tears coming back into my eyes, and the melancholy that has been a constant presence since his graduation Friday night returns.
Just try and keep me away,
he says, leaning in to take my lips in a toe-curling kiss. His tongue licks my bottom lip, and then he catches it in between his teeth, lightly biting down. I open my mouth to let him in and capture his moan down my throat. Pushing his shoulder, I roll him underneath me, feeling his already hard cock nestle within my wet core.
Babe, already?
He groans. Always, Axel. I'm always ready for you, I say as I lift up and help guide him inside my body. As I begin to move with a perfectly mastered rhythm over his lean, hard body, I think to myself how hard it's going to be to drop my boyfriend off at the bus tomorrow, knowing that it's going to be 6 long months before I see him again. Little do I know, the last time I look into these eyes will be when he turns around to wave while walking up the steps to the bus that takes my heart with it, a heart that never returns to me. Like I said, I haven't always been this weak woman. I don't think anyone wakes up and says, "Hey, today I think I will be weak, broken, and completely fucked up." I certainly didn't. I think I've worked hard to become who I am today, with the help of Dr. Maxwell, and Dee, of course. I have slowly become the me I once was. It hasn't been easy, and I still have my moments. I can't hear my full name without it taking me back to the dark years with Brandon. I started taking the steps to finalize our divorce about 6 months ago. The same time I had finally healed enough to start moving on, I started my own web design company, something I've always loved to do, and it seemed like the perfect choice. I felt comfortable being able to work out of the house Dee and I shared. Safer. Brandon isn't making things easy for me. One would think with a clear black-and-white police report and hospital record showing what the marriage to him did to me that I wouldn't have any issues with a quick divorce. But no, nothing ever came easy for me. I've been fighting with him the whole time, through lawyers, of course. I haven't actually seen him since the day I was released from the hospital 2 years ago. That was also the day that Dee and my duo became a trio. The day I met Greg. Where Dee is my sister, Greg is my brother. Bonds so tight they would be almost impossible to break. Greg is our protector, whether we want him or not. He looks out for us and doesn't shy away from Friday nights spent in watching chick flicks and eating junk food. I met Greg the day I was released from the hospital after a week's stay, healing from Brandon's final beating. Dee was there to pick me up. She pulled up in a minivan with the back loaded up full of boxes. Looking back now, I can laugh, but the look on her face when I asked her why she had the boxes was priceless. She looked me dead in the eyes with the fiercest expression she could muster and said, "Girl, if you think I will leave you here with that piece of sorry shit husband, you are nuts." "Nope, no way. We are packing you up and hitting the road. The world is our oyster or something like that." She then explained that she had the local sheriff meeting us there to make sure bastard Brandon didn't try anything. Dee was ready for anything. She told me not only would the law be there to look over things, but she had one of her friends meeting us there. She didn't get into detail, and I didn't care. I wanted it over. When we pulled up to the house I shared with Brandon, he was of course there and raging mad. I sat in the passenger seat, shaking like a leaf. Dee came around and helped me out, using her tiny body as a shield. I kept my eyes down until they met two huge booted feet in my path. Following those boots up thick thighs, a rock-solid chest and powerful arms, I looked up into thunderous blue eyes. He was a huge man, easily a foot over my 5'3". With his expression, I immediately shrank back, hoping it hadn't been noticeable, but nothing escaped this man's eyes. He carefully schooled his expression and tucked me under his thick arm by throwing it over my shoulders. As he guided me into the house, he softly said,
"Don't you worry, baby girl. We've got you now."
I don't know what it was, but when I met Greg that day, all it took were those words to instantly set me at ease. An hour later, we had 6 years of my life boxed and loaded. I left it all, only taking my clothes, important documents, pictures from my childhood, and small treasures I had hidden away from my life before Brandon. I haven't looked back since. I may feel alive, but today I'm alive with one bitch of a hangover. Looking at the clock, I shake my head at the time. How the hell did I sleep this late? That's right, D. D is how I slept this late. Crazy chick got home last night and thought we should spend the evening with Jack. One of these days she's going to remember that Jack and I, we are not friends. Never have been, never would be. Nights spent with Jack always bring me to the same spot, hungover and pissed off. Damn D. She better have breakfast ready this morning, afternoon. What did I let her talk me into last night? The last thing I remember is Dee coming home from work with a big-ass brown bag in her arms screaming, "Liquor delivery, bitch!" I guess that's what happens when you have been friends with someone for so long. She knew I needed her, and damn it, I needed Jack. So her announcement was met with red-rimmed eyes, ratty sweats, and a best friend on her 3rd carton of ice cream. She knew me, and she knew I would be hurting this weekend, so instead of letting me drink myself stupid alone, she grabbed 2 glasses and proceeded to get wasted with me, helping me forget, helping me numb my mind and just being there. Walking over to my desk, trying to clear the fog from last night's bender, I looked down at my desk calendar and triple-checked the date. Yep, it's still August 8th, my 30th birthday. Also the 12-year anniversary of what is still the worst day of my life. Getting into the shower without the aid of Jack, I can't stop my mind from wandering back in time. "Graham!" I screamed at the top of my lungs. "Graham, oh my God, Graham! There's blood! So much blood, Graham! What do I do? Why is there so much? Why is there any?" I reached complete hysterical breakdown proportions with my wailing. "This can't be happening. There is no way God would be so cruel to take this, too." I crashed down onto my knees, doubling over and curling into myself, screaming and praying and screaming, sobbing big, huge, gasping sobs. Pop's voice finally reaches my grief-filled mind, picking my small frame up and carrying me out to his truck.
"Here we go, my little one. Buckle up and have no worries for your beautiful heart. Pop's got you now."
Shaking my head, I come back from that horrible day. My 18th birthday is still 12 years later, marking all the birthdays that follow with heart-stopping pain. One day, I promise myself, one day I will be able to wake up on my birthday and smile. I can't wait for that day. Feeling slightly more human than I did a half-hour ago, I throw my fluffy robe over my naked skin and take off to find my best friend. I walk into the kitchen and smile down at the note from Dee.
"Yo, bring you some grub. Eat and shower because I bet you smell like yesterday's shit. I had to run into the office, but be ready. I'll be home around noon. We have some serious shopping and pampering to do. That's right, not getting out of it. Love me."
picking up the salad from the fast food joint up the street. I plopped down with a smile. Made me some grub my ass. More like drove 2 seconds away and paid someone else to do it. Leave it to Dee. Busy as always on a Friday before a long weekend, but still making sure I eat and take care of myself. Times like this remind me of how lucky I am to have her in my life. I really don't know what I would do without her. She has saved me from myself more often than I can count. Knowing she will be home in an hour is just more proof of that. She knows I need her this weekend, so she's closing up shop half a day early. I finish up lunch and then tidy up the kitchen. I return to my room to collect some laundry and get some housework done before Dee gets home. Anything to try to keep my mind free of bad memories. I know she means well, but I would much rather stay home and just be alone. I understand why she wants to keep me busy. I really do, but I just don't think I will be able to do it. Another year of going through the normal motions. Another year missing him, missing them, missing everything. A quick peek at the clock has me picking up my speed. Little Miss Happiness should be floating in soon. I at least need to be ready before the rainbows and glitters start fucking with me. I'm deep in my closet, trying unsuccessfully to find something to wear today when I hear her singing. Laughing to myself, I let a smile crack my face. Dee can't hold a tune to save her life, but that will never stop her. She comes bouncing in my room, smiling from ear to ear. "Hey, you sexy bitch! I see you decided to rock the birthday suit today. Nice choice. Although we might have some issues getting into the mall like that. I think there might be laws against this, but hey, more power to ya!" She smacks my ass on the way over to park it on my bed. "What the hell, Dee? Door closed. Knock." I try to scowl at her the way Greg always does to us, but end up laughing right along with her giggles. She flops her flat stomach down onto my bed. "So, my sexy older friend, what will be worn on your naked self today? I assume that is what you are doing digging around in that closet of yours." "I don't know, Dee." I don't have to fake the scowl this time. Do we have to do this today? Can't we just stay in today? I really don't think I'm going to make good company at all. I'm pleading with her, and I'm willing to bet I sound as desperate as I feel. I know I won't be pleasant to be around today. I planned on a repeat of last night. Shit-faced, falling down, rip-roaring drunk. Healthy? No, but it works. Why should I mess with a good thing? Get your skinny ass ready now. We're going to drive down to the mall, get a new hot-as-fuck outfit for both of us, go see Sway at the salon, and have some serious pampering before Greg comes over to take us to dinner tonight. You aren't going to sit at home alone. I know that's your plan. Not again is. Not this year. Her eyebrows are puckering, and she looks like she will drag me out of here naked if I don't agree. Jesus. There really is no sense in arguing with her when she gets this worked up. I'll just come up with some excuse later and ditch her and Greg for a night at home with Jack. Now that's a plan with some promise. Chapter 2. We've been shopping for hours, or at least it feels like hours to a person who does not enjoy shopping. Dee started dragging me around the second we walked through the doors. She's a woman on a mission. We were in our second store after the 3 different lingerie stores. I had more freaking panties than I would need in a lifetime. Apparently, step 1 of Dee's master plan was making sure I had new everything. I put my foot down the second I noticed her intent. No freaking way. After a small fight, she finally agreed. 1 outfit, 1 complete outfit, and that's all. And that brings us to now. I have tried on what feels like the whole entire dress department. There is always something she finds wrong with each one. Finally, she thrust a bright candy apple red scarf at me. I say scarf because there is no way there is enough material to call this a dress. Dee, where is the rest of it? I question. That's it, is. I just know it. That is the dress. She's bouncing, literally bouncing up and down in place. Her curly hair is jumping right along with her. If I weren't so annoyed, I would think she is pretty damn cute right now. There is no way I am wearing that, Dee. Is there even a back on that thing? And my vagina is seriously going to be playing peekaboo all night. There is no way. No way at all. I'm practically panting with anxiety. I spent the last 2 years hiding my body. I lost all the weight I gained during my marriage, but I still see the fat girl I once was when I look in the mirror. Dee is constantly on my ass to stop wearing my ratty-ass jeans and man shirts, which is what she affectionately calls my lack of style. I like my style. Jeans and tees. It's easy and perfect. Shit. Sighing, I look down at the scrap of beautiful red material, thinking to myself, it's just one night. One night of wearing a scarf to keep that smile on Dee's face. After everything she has done, parading around with my vagina smiling at the world is a small price to pay. All right, you pushy little shit, I'll see what it looks like on. But don't blame me if it doesn't work, I tell her with fake exasperation. Turning from her smiling face, I step into the dressing room and remove my street clothes once again. Once I pull the minuscule piece of fashion over my hips, I bring the tiny strings that will hold this dress on my body over my arms and set them in place on my shoulders. Reaching behind me for the zipper, I meet bare skin. Called it, I thought to myself. Placing my palm against my back, I confirmed that there is, in fact, no back. I slowly turn around and face the mirror, sealing my fate. Unable to stop the small gasp that escapes my lips, I look myself up and down. Is that me? The dress fits perfectly, but then again with Dee, I knew it would. The front of the dress fits snug across my chest, making my average-sized chest look a cup larger than my small C's. The straight neckline starts just under my collarbone, essentially covering everything. The small straps going over my shoulders make my frame look sleek and petite. Not too bad. Taking a deep breath, I turn around to check out the damage. Another small gasp escapes before I bite my lip and take in everything the back lacks. I can see the straps holding the dress up, holding my shoulders as if they feared any second they could snap. I follow the exposed line of my spine all the way down to the 2 dimples above my ass and the small piece of red fabric hugging my cheeks. Barely. How am I supposed to wear underwear with this dress? Dee chooses this moment to start tapping on the dressing room door impatiently. Izzy, she sings. Izzy, I know what you're doing in there. Stop freaking your freak and let me see. I crack the door, giving her another one of Greg's mean looks. I'm going to kill you for this. She laughs as she pushes herself into the dressing room with me, taking me in from top to bottom and then back up again. The smile that comes over her face creeps me the hell out. I don't think I've ever seen that look before. She looks so shit. She's practically oozing joy. I knew it! I just knew it! Izzy, you have been hiding this banging body for way too long. No more. Maybe we should keep shopping. She looks down at her watch. There's still time. I could have you outfitted in a few hours. The works, dresses, skirts, slacks, blouses. She trails off. I don't even think she's speaking to me anymore. I'm almost 100% sure her eyes have just glossed over. Denise Ann Roberts, you calm yourself down right the hell now. I told you 1 outfit. 1. I did not say we would spend the rest of eternity buying the whole damn mall. 1 D. 1 dress. I already caved on the lingerie, I whisper sharply at her. She gives me a hurt look before that creepy little grin comes back. Okay, damn Iz, no more clothes for now. But one day you will let me do a complete makeover. We still need shoes, so let's go, birthday girl. Get naked and let me have that awesome dress while you put those ratty-ass jeans and ugly-ass man shirt back on. She's bouncing again, and damn it, even though I smile, I'm slightly worried about what I just got myself into. 2 hours later, we finally reach the salon and our favorite stylist in the world, Sway. Sway is a short, fat African-American man with long platinum blonde hair. When he isn't rocking the trademark heels, I can almost look him in the eye. Sway, whose real name is Dilbert Harrison III, is the funniest man I've ever met. How often in small-town Georgia does a small black man come up to you with 4-inch heels, skinny jeans, and a tight-fitting shirt on, kiss both cheeks, and pronounce you looking marvelous, darling? Not very often, I promise you that. Sway has been itching to get his hands on my thick, long mahogany hair. He was shocked the first time he styled it, and I told him I didn't touch color products. I have always been blessed with perfect hair. It's dark brown with so many different shades of auburn that when the sun hits it, you can almost see it set fire. Exhausted from my shopping mission with Dee, I sit down and tell him to go for it, whatever he wants.
Sweet baby Jesus in the manger. Sweet child. Oh, Lord, have mercy. Please tell Sway that I am not hearing things.
He turns his excited eyes on me with a look of elation, pure elation. Go for it, Sway. Just please don't make me regret this. Smiling at him through the mirror, I let myself drift off. The first time I met Sway was when Dee and I arrived in town 2 years before. He was our second stop after unloading all of her stuff and my few boxes at our new house. Dee had explained to me on the drive that this was our new chapter in life, a chance to start from scratch and become new people. I knew what she was giving up to run with me. She had a very successful insurance company in Bakersville, North Carolina. Luckily, she was your typical trust fund baby, so it wasn't hard for her to up and leave. She left her second-in-command in charge with plans on expanding wherever we landed. We'd taken everything we owned and drove south. The one and only saving grace I'd had was an account Dee had helped me set up with the money my grandfather had left me when he passed away 5 years ago. Her money had bought us the house, but mine ensured I had time to heal before I needed to make any plans. The one plan I did make immediately was to get rid of the Stepford wife look Brandon had pressed upon me. Sway tried, but it took time, and finally my hair was long and lush again, falling almost to my ass in thick waves. I don't look a lot like that scared housewife anymore. Thank Christ for that. Sway is muttering off and on about the newest purse he just picked up at the Coach store, the earrings he planned on matching with each new purse, and which heels he would wear with what. I swear that this man was done a great injustice when he came out with a dick. "Oh, honey, did I tell you about the new man who just bought up the space next door? Oh, sweet love of all the gods above, he is huge, darling. Just huge. I bet he is huge everywhere, if you know what I mean." He looks down at me with such seriousness that it takes me a minute to follow the flow from purses to man candy. "What? Oh, right. Good looking, huh?" I respond, hoping that I am following.
"Girl, you have no idea what Sway wouldn't do to catch the eye of that walking wet dream. He was at least 7 feet tall, at least. Huge. I am talking muscles on his muscles. I do not know how his shirt stayed together. It was stretched so tight against that sexy chest and those fine arms. Makes me want to just fall at his feet and pray he swings my way. But I tell you this, there's no way a man as him swings for the rainbow. No way. Shame for Sway, but girlfriend, as beautiful as you are, this is good news. Best news. We should set something up. You would love him. Thick black hair. Now I would love to get my hands on that thick mop of lusciousness. Yes, I would.
Did I mention that Sway could exaggerate slightly when he got excited? I'm starting to get a little concerned about the orgasm Sway seems to be having about this man while he's holding scissors to my head. This could be bad. I smile hesitantly up at Sway in his dreamy eyes. "Sway, babe, you know I love you, but I have no interest in you fixing me up. None. So get it out of your head right now."
"Oh, girl, one of these days you will meet a man and he's going to knock you right on your ass. Mark my words, girlfriend. Knock you straight on that perfect little ass," he replies with a naughty grin.
"Doubtful, Sway. I am done with the male gender. I might even take a page out of your book and start batting for my own team." I laugh and sit back, allowing myself to relax now that the scissor-wielding man has calmed down. Dee and I finish up with Sway and his minions of beauty right around 5, with just enough time to rush home and get dressed before Greg comes to take us to dinner. Pulling up to the house, I notice a package on the step. Calling out to Dee, I step out of the car and grab a few bags, stopping to pick up the package and unlock the door. Dropping the bags in my hand, I quickly disarm the security system and make my way into the kitchen. Dee comes in right when I drop the package on the island and turn for a knife. "What's that?" she asks. "Not sure. No return address. Probably something from a client for my birthday," I reply, distracted by my mission to cut away the tape. Dee goes about her own business, walking down the hall to her room, surely to start her getting-ready process. Cutting the rest of the packaging tape away, I peel open the flaps and start moving around the packaging popcorn. I move a folded piece of paper out of the way, placing it on the counter and remove what appears to be a frame. Carefully turning it over, I gasp and drop the picture to the ground, shattering the glass all around my feet. Dee comes running down the hall at my noise, trying to figure out what has me so spooked. She bends down and picks up the frame, turning it over to reveal the picture. "That motherfucker," she says under her breath. "What a fucking motherfucker!" she screams. Through the tears streaming down from my eyes, I look down at the photo of Brandon and me. He's taken something sharp and scraped away the belly part of my body. He is looking at me through the picture with that handsome, perfect smile on his face, his arm around my back, holding me close to his body. I look sad, but I'm still smiling. I think this was taken during our last Christmas together at one of his company parties. The arm not behind my back was resting on the portion of my stomach he so harshly scraped and dug off the picture. Dee picks up the paper I laid out on the counter. Giving a quick peek, she slams it back down, looking like she could spout steam at any second. "Bastard! That bastard! I'm going to cut off his balls and feed them to him before I kill him with my bare hands! Fucker!" She starts looking around for her phone, momentarily forgetting she left the paper where I could see it. I look down, and in his angry scrawl I read,
"Feeling empty today? How old will the bastard be this year? Happy birthday, dear wife."
Surprisingly, the sobs don't start right away. I stand there just looking down at the paper for the longest time, and when it hits hard. Stumbling back a few steps until my back hits the wall, I slide down onto my ass, curling my legs up to my chest and wrapping an arm around myself protectively. My forehead hits my knees, and everything I have been carefully storing in the "do not open" box in my head comes pouring out. Giant, body-shaking sobs release, and I'm gasping for breaths between them. My whole frame is jerking violently with the force of my grief. Dee comes rushing into the room. I can hear her on the phone, but she is so far away from my understanding right now. Her arms come around me, and I feel her rocking me while still mumbling into the phone. The tears won't stop coming, and the crying is getting louder. I have no idea how long I stay ass to the floor in the kitchen, crying and rocking. I look up briefly when I feel strong arms wrap around me and hook under my legs, lifting me off the floor. Another sob catches my breath when I meet Greg's pained blue eyes. Resting my head on his chest, I let him take the lead. Walking over to the couch, he sits down and keeps me close to his body. As grateful as I am for Dee, for everything she has done for me, it's moments like this when the only thing that can make me feel safe is being held tight in Greg's strong arms. If anyone can understand where I am in my head right now, it's Greg. Part of the reason that our bond is so strong is because of how much he can relate right now. About a month after I met Greg, he sat me down and explained that he had lost his sister when he was overseas. Her husband was a real prick, and Greg always wondered, but never confirmed, if he was slapping her around. Unfortunately, he was never able to save his sister. She was beyond his protection when he was off fighting for everyone else's freedom. When he met me, he said that his first thought was how much I reminded him of her. That conversation wasn't an easy one for him, but it helped me understand why he'd gotten so murderous the day he saw me standing on the curb of my old house, beaten, bruised, and broken. Looking back now, I understand how he was able to recognize my fear, and instead of lashing out, he took it in and turned it into my lifeline, my protector. He's been protecting me ever since.
"Baby girl, I know you're scared. Mark my fucking words, he will not touch you. Do you hear me? He won't breathe your fucking air, I promise you that."
His fierce voice rumbles in my ears. He means it, I don't doubt that. Greg would do anything to protect his family.
"I'll find him. I've got a friend who just moved to town, Reed. He's buying into cage investigation and security. He's been more bodyguard and muscle, but he wants to expand into systems, installs, and investigations. My shit. So we got you, baby girl. He's been a big deal out west now for a few years. Ex-Marine, badass motherfucker. I'll talk with Reed, explain the situation, and we will take this. I don't want you to even think about it. You got me, baby girl?"
How do you argue with that? Easy, you don't. Not when it comes to Greg Cage in protection mode. Yeah, Greg, I got you. With plans for the night squashed by one unexpected package, Greg settles down with Dee and me for movies, popcorn, and beer. I'm out before Mike takes the stage for the first scene. I vaguely hear Greg's grumbles about watching a fucking stripper movie when the strippers have dicks. Chapter 3. The next morning greets me much like yesterday, except I'm not hungover from Jack this time. My emotional hangover is much worse. My strength seems stripped from me in a way that makes it hard to remember that I am not that broken and weak woman anymore. I try to remember that I survived. There is no reason to fear life anymore. I'm free, and I am my own person. It's hard, God, it's hard to remember the positive in my life. I remind myself that I don't want to be this woman anymore. I am strong, and I will overcome this. Then I remember the picture, the carving over my empty womb. And then all that strength and drive to overcome flies right out the window. Fuck strong. I just want to curl up and die. Knock, knock. Dee, come back later. I don't want to talk right now, I whine, turning my head into the pillow. Maybe if I'm lucky I can just go to sleep and she'll go away.
Not Dee, baby girl. Turn over so we can talk, yeah?
Greg's deep voice hits me, leaving no room for argument. Why ask the question? I know he won't leave until we talk. But then I remember. Fuck that. Go away, G. Not interested in hashing out life lessons right now. My voice is muffled by the pillow. He'll get the point, and if he doesn't, fuck him.
Get the fuck up, now. Love you, baby girl, but I won't sit here while you self-destruct.
He's pissed, but not as pissed as me. Why can't they just let me stay in bed? Maybe bring me some more Jack, the asshole. Go away, Greg.
So fucking help me God, Izzy, get the hell up now. Shower, talk, breakfast. That's all I am asking, which isn't fucking much.
Not interested in helping you play Dr. Phil, Greg. I just want to go back to sleep. More of my muffled complaints fill the air, making it thick with bullshit.
God damn it is,
he grumbles, standing up off my bed, giving me a second to release the breath I didn't know I was holding. Thank God he's leaving, is the only thought I have before the sheets are whipped off and I'm flying through the air.
No, dealing with this shit is, we have shit to discuss, and I do not have time to deal with you being depressed. I get it, baby girl. I understand where you are right now, but you need to wake up and do it now. You have people worried about you. Dee and I are not going to let you sit here and turn into yourself again. No fucking way.
He is spitting each word out as he throws me over his shoulder and walks into the bathroom. Greg! I scream. Let me down now!
Not going to happen,
is the only reply I get before he dumps me into the shower, twisting the water on and slamming the curtain shut in my stunned, cold and wet face. I'm going to kick your ass, Greg Cage! Kick it fucking hard! I scream out at him. I swear I hear his laughter as he walks out of the bathroom. I stay in the shower until the water runs cold, dreading leaving the solitude of my bathroom. Getting out, I dry off, brush my hair and teeth, and throw on my robe. I take a deep breath in and open the door. There he is, the giant asshole, sitting on my bed with his elbows resting on his knees. He is looking right at me, trying to look serious while suppressing his laughter. Asshole. All right, you wanted me out. I throw my arms wide. Here I am. What is so important, huh? He smiles at me, letting a few gruff chuckles free.
Try and be a badass another day, Izzy. I'm fucking tired. Went to chat with Rita when I left last night. Told him a little about the situation, not everything. He knows there is a husband not wanting to become an ex and not being quiet about it. He doesn't know the significance behind the picture, but it's disturbing enough that he didn't question me too deep last night. I want you to be honest with him. It's important for him to do his job is. He doesn't know a thing about shit other than this mess currently going on, and the little he needed to know about your marriage to understand the threat. He's booked solid with shit for the next 2 weeks, but I told him I would keep my eyes open until we could put a plan of action into play. You meet with Reed, explain the whole situation. Everything, and I mean everything, and then we deal. Understand?
I take a second to process what Greg just said. It's a lot, and I know he means well, but I do not want someone else in my business. Greg, I start. I really would feel better if it were just you dealing with this. I don't really know this guy, and...
Not negotiable, Liz. I'm good, but I am not as good as Reed.
Sighing, I look at Greg. Defeated, I reply, Fine, G. You know best.
That's right, baby girl. Don't worry. Reed's who you need. Him and the boys, between all of us, there's no fucking way that shit fuck is getting his hands on you. Got me?
Yeah, G. I got you. Greg left a little while ago, leaving me with a worried D. A worried D planning another forget-the-world mission. I'm not sure I can handle another one of these. Her newest plan? Continue with birthday weekend. Since yesterday's plans went wonky, she calls up Greg to let him know the plan. Drinks and dancing at Club Carnal. Fabulous. Just what I want. My defeated mood continues throughout the day, and I just don't have the strength to fight D on this. I can handle one night out with D. Greg drinks aplenty and loud music to drown out the pain. I spend my day vegging out on the couch and just hating life in general. Why can't he just leave me alone? The divorce has been sitting in limbo for 6 long months. I didn't want a thing, not the house, cars, or the money. Nothing that would tie me to Brandon. I'm beginning to think he won't ever just go away. Dee joins me for lunch. She doesn't say anything about the previous day, but I can tell she wanted to. She's just working it out in her head, trying to figure out the best way to approach. No doubt she heard everything Greg said, too. She knew I would crawl into myself and start going back to that dark place. No way in hell she was letting that happen. I'm sitting on my bed, folding laundry and avoiding the world when she walks in. Hey, have a second? She asks, lacking the joy she normally greets me with. If you want to hash shit out, I just don't think I have it in me today, Dee. I love you, but I just don't know what you want to hear, I reply, setting the laundry aside and clearing her off a spot to sit. I just want to see where your head's at. Make sure you're okay. I don't know. I really don't, Dee. I feel like there isn't anything I can do at this point. He knows where we are, even though I hoped we could stay invisible to him. It was stupid of me to even nurture that thought. I knew he had reach. I just honestly thought he wouldn't care. Why, I keep asking myself why he even wants to play this game. I swallow the tears back down. I can't go there. Not again. Babe, we won't ever know what goes through that sick bastard's head. I think it's all about letting you know he could if he wanted to. He knows you are here, knows you want the divorce. Surely he knows you aren't that girl he controlled so easily. I don't know what his plan is, but I really think you need to speak to Greg's friend. I would be lying to you if I said I didn't have any fear that he might try something. I know she's right. Hell, I lived with this evil for 6 years. I know more than anyone just what Brandon Hunter is capable of. I know, and I will. It's just hard. You understand that, right? She nods her head, compassion lighting her eyes. I get that, I really do. But when it comes to your safety, your life, well, I won't take any chances. We have come so far. You have come so far. It just doesn't seem right that fate would be throwing him back up in your life. Huh. Again with that bitch fate. I should explain how much she hates me to Dee, but she wouldn't understand. Not with her hopeful optimism. I'll talk to him. Reed. I think that's what Greg said his name was. 2 weeks. I have 2 weeks to prepare myself to open those wounds back up. God, Dee, I don't want to go there again, remembering it all. And Greg says I need to tell him everything. You don't think he means everything, do you? Surely anything from before Brandon isn't important. I think that's panic in my voice. Surely not. But I can tell by Dee's watery eyes that it most certainly is. Izzy, babe, that picture, I think all the before Brandon stuff is kind of important. He knows what yesterday was for you, which means he won't stop pulling more of your pain into the open. It really is best you tell this guy everything. Greg and I will be there. We won't let you do this alone. Never again. I look into Dee's big brown eyes and know that she is prepared to fight by my side, and I love her for it. Maybe it isn't right for me to depend on her so much for strength, but try as I might, I just can't find another way. All right, Dee. Together, when Greg sets something up, we can go talk to this guy. figure out what to do next. With a small smile, watery eyes, and relief hidden in their depths, she gives me a hug and stands up. With a small clap, she has officially brushed herself off and decided that the heavy is done with for today. Well, now that we have had that talk, let's get ready. Greg is coming back after he grabs some stuff for the night from his apartment, stops by his office and lets everyone know what's going on, all that stuff. That should give us plenty of time to start all our prep work for tonight. Huge smile. Yup, my Dee, the queen of joy and happiness, is back. With a groan, I let her pull me out of bed and set off for the shower. I have been thoroughly waxed, buffed, shaved, tweaked, and generally molested by beautifying products by the time we hear Greg's knock on the door, just in time for him to sit back and enjoy the freak show. I'm sitting on the living room floor painting my toes, and Dee is sitting back on the couch, finishing her fingers when I yell at him to come in. I hear the door click open and his heavy steps down the hallway. Looking up, I meet the fierce scowl he is famous for.
What the fuck? What the hell have I told you to about letting just anyone walk into the fucking house?
He growls. Yes, growls at us. If this were anyone other than Greg, I would be sitting in my own piss right now. Oh, come on, G, we knew it was you.
Oh, really? So you can see through fucking wood and steel now? I didn't realize you picked up fucking superpowers. Remind me next fucking time to just have you beam me the hell over. Sure as hell will save on the gas.
Oops. Guess I didn't realize Big Bad Protector Greg would be coming out to play.
Baby girl, I did not put this fancy-ass alarm system in for you to not only never set it when you were home, but to leave the door unlocked and basically invite Tom, Dick, and Harry to come over. Do I really need to remind you of the dangers out there?
If he was trying for the soft and tender route, he missed by a mile there. I instantly shut down, my gaze falling to the floor. Sorry, I mumble.
Don't do that shit, Izzy. Brush it the fuck out of your pretty little head. Just promise me to start locking the door, use the alarm, and for shit's sake, check the damn door before letting someone in, yeah?
Got it. Alarm, lock, and check. I pick up all my nail products and head off to my room. I have some time to get ready. We aren't leaving until later tonight. I'll let Dee deal with keeping the bear happy. I'm going to take a nap before we leave. Wake me up in a few, Dee. I call down the hall as I step in my room. I lock the door and shed my clothes before curling into my bed. It takes me a while to finally fall asleep, but once I do, it is anything but restful. Nightmares of Brandon and dreams of a future lost invade my sleep. When Dee comes to knock on my door around 8 o'clock, asking me if I want to grab something to eat, it takes me a second to remember where I am and what we're doing. Yeah, let me get some clothes on and I'll be right down, I yell through the door, still shaking the dreams from my mind. I get out of bed and grab my robe, setting off to find Dee and Greg.
Pizza. Sit. Eat.
Greg says around a mouthful of said pizza. Classy, Greg. I wonder why you're still single. I laugh over at him. He levels me with a mocking hard glare that has me laughing harder. We eat in comfortable silence, just enjoying each other's company. When it comes time to get dressed and do makeup and hair, we leave Greg in front of the TV with some sports shit to keep him happy. Dee and I spend about 2 hours perfecting our hair and faces. Her shoulder-length brown locks are curled and perfectly in place, bouncing as normal. She curled my long hair and pinned it back to keep it off to one side, leaving it to fall down the front of my body, effectively keeping my back fully exposed. I have to admit, she may have missed her calling. Her makeup is done similar to mine, heavy and club-worthy. She lined my big light green eyes with heavy liner and shaded my lids with a stunning combination of silver, black, gray, and white. My blush is perfect, but my lips are the focal point, lush and a bold fire engine red. Grabbing my new dress, I step into my room to put this piece of torture on. I may have realized she was right, and I do look good, but that doesn't mean I have to enjoy showing off basically every inch of skin. Baby steps would be nice, not taking off running. I stand in front of my closet for the longest time, just taking it all in. Tight red dress, perfect hair, and flawless makeup. If I weren't me, I would think this chick was stunning. But I'm me, and I'm currently picking out every single flaw. Breasts look too big. Even with my height disadvantage, I have way too much leg. Way too fucking much back, heels too tall. I could keep this up for hours. Fortunately for Dee, she picks that moment to come walking in. She looks stunning. Everything my dress lacks and doesn't cover, hers does. She has a simple black dress on. The hemline hits her about the same place my dress does, vagina level. Or at least it would be vagina level if she ever were to bend over, sit, or generally take a deep breath. It's form-fitting, hugging her curves, making her ass look fantastic. I've always been jealous of that girl's curves. She's slender with everything right where it should be. A great ass and a great rack. Where my dress lacks a complete back, hers is dangerously close to playing with nip-slip central. The front is cut right down the center, ending with a point at her breastbone. Holy shit, Dee. If you move wrong, your tits are going to come flying out. Gaping over at her, I'm sure I look ridiculous. Very funny, Izzy. Tape, honey. I have these girls so taped up there isn't anything falling out of here. She lifts her arms up and does some weird gyrating, hip-swirling move. I can't tell if she is dancing or trying to fly, but true to her words, her tits stay put. Whatever. More important issues here, like how the hell am I supposed to walk in 5-inch heels? I am a ballet slipper flip-flop loving girl. I haven't worn heels like this ever. When I was married to Brandon, he wanted me to stay small. Heels weren't allowed because they would make me dangerously close to his height. Is there any way I can wear my flat sandals, Dee? I swear I will end up breaking my neck tonight in these things. How are you walking in yours? All in the mind, girlfriend, and no, you will not ruin that dress with flats. She practically spits the words out. Mumbling under my breath about the benefits of having health insurance for when I fall and break something important, I pick up my skyscraper heels from the bed and follow Dee out my door, down the hall, and into the living room. Greg walks over with a smile on his face, looking pretty damn handsome himself. He is dressed in dark slacks and a light blue dress shirt with the sleeves rolled up, exposing his strong arms.
Looking nice, ladies,
he says, throwing a beefy arm over my shoulder and pausing mid-step into the kitchen. It takes me a second to register that he stopped walking, so I end up a few steps ahead of him. I hear his sharp intake of breath and turn around. His face has lost the smile, and a thunderous look has taken up residency.
Where the fuck is your dress?
You're looking at it, G, or lack of it, Dee's handiwork. You know how she is. Last time I give her free range over my outfit, that's for damn sure. I reply with the exasperation clear in my tone. He's looking at me like I have grown 2 heads and started speaking in tongues. Quickly, I look down to make sure all my girly bits are still tucked in their rightful places. Looking back up, I meet the still pissed glare of Greg. Confused, I ask, "What?"
What? Fucking hell! How am I supposed to protect you when you are walking around naked? He booms.
Seriously, this isn't that bad, I think. Plus, Dee was so happy. It's just a few hours of wearing this thing. It really is okay, as long as I don't bend over. I try to joke, but I can tell he still is not thrilled with my lack of dress. What can I say? When he decided to adopt me as his little sister, he went all out. I don't have time for this big brother act at this point. As much as I appreciate it, he is keeping me from my alcohol and my ticket to Forgetville. I've managed to keep the claws of my past from taking root all day. I'm not going to let them take over now. Turning around, I continue my walk to the kitchen, where Dee is giving me a knowing eye. Picking up the shot she just poured, I down it, and then hold my arm out for a refill. Chuckling, she pours me another before turning to address Greg. "Well, big boy, you ready to have fun?"
"Yeah," grumbles Greg. Grumbles and rumbles. It sounds like someone isn't too happy with my lack of concern for his big brother worries.
"Are your friends still meeting us here?" she asks, peeking a look over at me to see if I caught this new development. "What friends?" I ask both of them.
"My boys, don't worry about it. They're meeting us at Carnal later. They got held up,"
he replies, his tone still sour and his eyes still glaring right at me. Dee looks over with confusion, not understanding why he is so bent out of shape over an outfit. "Seriously, G, you need to get fucking laid." I laugh at him, trying to lighten his mood. He looks sharply at me.
"Are you fucking kidding me, Iz? You two are practically fucking naked, and you expect me to be okay with that?" Pointing over at Dee, he says, "At least one of you decided to wear something."
I look over at Dee with her short black dress and tits still breaking laws of gravity. I don't understand how he thinks she's less naked than I am. I look back at Greg, who has decided that pacing is a better method of dealing rather than sitting silently and fuming. Whatever, I don't have the patience for this shit. Not tonight. Get over it, Greg. Seriously. I do not need a fucking dad tonight. You know what I need? My best friends, alcohol, and a good time. I don't want to deal with you being a little bitch because you have some misguided worry someone might find this look attractive. I don't care and don't have time for your shit. I throw my heels down on the island, grab the bottle of tequila from Dee, and take a long pull from the neck, enjoying the burn it takes down the back of my throat. I look up and notice them both looking at me with unmasked sympathy. They know how hard this weekend is going to be, especially now with the added shit from Brandon. I'm sure they are coming from a good place with their worry. I just don't want any part of it. If anything, Brandon has effectively helped me get through the hardest hurdle by throwing it in my face yesterday. Literally. My birthday weekend, also known as the day I lost the last piece of love I had ever known. So, Greg, Dee starts, trying to steer our minds off the heavy shit. Who is meeting us there again?
My boys from my Marine days,
he states, keeping his eyes lined with mine. I pause for a moment, looking down at my shot. Still, after all this time, I can't help the shudder that passes through my body at the mention of the Marines. God, I miss him. Greg is watching me closely. He knows about my past, so he knows what that one little word does to me. We don't talk much about it, but he knows enough. I think he has just as big of a problem talking about those days. He never has told us why he was discharged. I know he was injured, I just don't know how. I figure he will talk if he wants to. I glance over at Dee, who's giving me a knowing look, and she quickly changes the subject. We make small talk for about an hour before grabbing our stuff and heading off to Greg's truck. Both Dee and I have a nice healthy buzz going on. We're all pretty silent during our 30-minute drive into Atlanta and Club Carnal. Living just outside of the city has its perks sometimes. I forgot how much I missed Georgia, having grown up an hour from where we settled in Hopetown. I still remember sitting at the rest stop and Dee pulling out a state map. She looked over with a huge smile and told me to pick. So I did. Hopetown is perfect. Everything we hoped it would be for two friends starting over. I haven't been back home to Dale since I left at 17. Too many memories I wasn't ready to revisit. Most of those memories are happy ones. My parents and our life before they were taken from me too early, leaving a scared and heartbroken teenager. When I left, at the time I didn't care what I was leaving behind. Now that my parents are gone, there is nothing left there. He already left, so what is the point now? Shaking myself off, I quickly pushed the painful memories back into the box in my mind I marked, "Do not fucking go there." I have worked hard to beat the past, and at 30 years old, I finally feel the healthiest I have ever been. I don't feel the fear daily. I surround myself with positive and generally happy people. Negativity doesn't own a piece of my soul anymore. The pain is still there, just not as sharp as it once was. I am happy, or at least I am on the road to getting there. I see the street Carnal is on up ahead, and the line already out the door and down the sidewalk. Well, Liz, I think, time to put that game face on and enjoy the night. Chapter 4. Club Carnal is located just inside of Atlanta in an old converted warehouse. It's been the club to go since it opened 4 years ago, and Dee and I have enjoyed it a time or two since we moved to town. It's a classy club, dress code and all of that, valet standing at the curb, and a line that has never less than 100 people. Another benefit of coming with Greg, he knows people, everyone it seems. He pulls up to the curb and tosses his keys to the young kid playing dress-up as a valet. After helping Dee and me out of the car, he saunters off to chat with a huge burly man standing guard at the door and shakes his hand. They do that weird man hug thing and exchange a few words, glancing back a few times at Dee and me. The bouncer nods once and lets us in. I swear Greg can get anything he wants. As we walk down the dark hallway leading into the main room, I can feel the music pulsing through the air. Lights are dim, but bright enough for me to see the sea of bodies rolling with the beat. I ignore it all and head straight for the bar. It takes Dee and Greg a minute before they realize I've left their sides for my one-woman mission to become completely blitzed. When I leave here, I plan on being a blacked-out, stumbling drunk. Signaling the bartender, I order 3 shots of tequila and tell him to keep them coming. Pointing over at Greg, I say, "He's paying." Greg shakes his head but pulls out his wallet and hands his credit card over to the bartender to start a tab. "Bottoms up, bitches," I say, quickly downing all 3 shots. We spend about an hour at the bar, just taking in the atmosphere and the general vibe of the place. Well, Dee and Greg might be taking it all in, but I'm too busy keeping my drinks flowing. Dee was keeping my pace, but she isn't on the same mission I am. Her goal is fun, and mine is to become numb. I steal the second Jack and Coke the bartender put down before she can drink it. I look at her, smirk, and down it. "Seriously, Iz? You can't even pretend to share?" She has a small frown on her face. She knows what I'm doing, and she isn't happy about it. But being the friend she is means she will stand by my side and catch me when I fall. I have just ordered us a round of tight snatches, vodka, peach schnapps, orange, and cranberry juice, when I catch their eyes on me. At first, I think they are reacting to my decision to only order off-the-wall drinks. But when I look closer, I see it. The concern, the worry, and the uncertainty on how to proceed. I pick up my drink and announce, "All right, let's fucking party! You're only 30 once! Woohoo!" I'm screaming. Why am I screaming again? Giggling, I look up at Greg. Catch his eyes, he looks down at me with his stoic face. He shakes his head, accepting that his friend is well and truly sloshed. I can see his lip twitching from trying so hard to remain the untouchable bodyguard. To hell with this. Laughing even harder, I grab their hands and drag them out to the middle of the dance floor. Belatedly, I notice how much easier it is to walk on these sticks when you can't feel your legs. Lesson number 1 for hoochwear. Be drunk. It might make dancing more of a challenge, but I'm not feeling a thing, and it is beautiful. The song changes to the familiar beats of Macklemore and Ryan Lewis's Can't Hold Us. It fills my ears and pounds into my bones. Throwing my arms up, I turn around and look up at Greg, who is still trying his hardest not to laugh. I let the music take over my body, invade my muscles, and penetrate my soul with the pulsing rhythm. I can feel Greg behind me now, unmoving. Nothing different there. Dee is moving right along with me, just as enthralled with the music as I am. She looks over at me with a knowing smile. I give her the first real smile I have felt all day. She knows how to move. We used to be regulars in the club scene during college. Before Brandon, that is. With a wink to clue her into my intentions, I turn around and wrap my arms around Greg's neck. Even with my heels, I have to come way up on the balls of my feet just to reach him. Smiling, I begin to move with his tall frame, which isn't an easy task. His hands finally grab a hold of my hips and dig in. Dee peeks around him from his back and gives me a smirk, and we start grinding together. I can feel the rumbles of his voice against my chest when he whispers in my ear, "You're lucky I love you, baby girl." I laugh up at him, noticing that his expressionless face is finally smiling. He hates dancing, but Dee and I have made it a mission, on the rare occasions we go out, to torture him as much as possible. He knew this was coming. It doesn't mean he has to like it. He puts up with this because he wouldn't dare leave our sides. He knows what kind of trouble the two of us could get into. When the song ends, we head off laughing to the bar once again, with the excuse to rehydrate. Maybe that's a case for them, but for me it's all about replenishing the alcohol I just burned off on the dance floor. I can feel my buzz slipping, and we can't have that. We've been at Carnal for a few hours now. The last time I even attempted to gain the time, the hands on the clock started dancing. I ask Greg, who says it's a little after 1:30 in the morning. Sure, we can go with that. Dee and I have been taking turns ordering the most outrageous drinks we can think of, with the help of our phones and Google, of course. "Give me 2 golden showers, bartender!" I scream across the bar. When did someone take my last drink? What was that one? A blowjob, I think. Yes, that was it. We spent a good 15 minutes laughing our asses off after making Greg drink one. He is currently giving us a look of extreme displeasure. He can act as mad as he wants, but yelling for Greg to deep-throat his blowjob was hilarious. Just ask the customers around us. They certainly laughed loud enough. Even during times like this, when you know he could be doing something better with his time, he wouldn't dream of being anywhere else. He's been a constant presence in my life since that day he showed up with Dee. The big brother I never had. Always there when I needed him the most. I can tell by the way he keeps looking around the crowd that he has slipped back into that protector mode. It's almost like he constantly thinks something is out to get him. Or me. I shiver. Brandon isn't ever far from my thoughts. Especially not after the package. I can tell when Greg looks at me like he is afraid I might break at any moment that his thoughts are the same. Dee's slurred voice interrupts my thoughts with a high-pitched screech. Yo, bitch, drink up! I got you one of those pull-down pussy things. No, it was the pussy panty pull-down? Fuck! She spits the word out with so much frustration she almost falls off her stool. She looks over at me, and I can see that she's trying to decide if she is more confused over the correct drink name or how she got to the club to begin with. That's not right, Dee. Greg, tell her the right pussy. You know pussy, right, Greg? I laugh up at him, tilting my head to the side, wondering why his frown is wobbling.
You two are driving me fucking crazy. Just because I know pussy doesn't mean I know this shit. I eat it, and when drinking it down, I damn sure don't do that out of a fucking glass. For shit's sake, get some motherfucking water next time. Fuck me the right pussy.
He shakes his head at us both.
If you touch one more drink with fucking pussy in the title, we are gone. Got me?
Well, he thinks he runs this show, does he? I look over at Dee, who's trying hard not to bark out a laugh. Holding up my arm, I signal the bartender over. Again.
What's next, my beauties?
Comes his flirty question. Well, since pussy is off the allowed list, how about you surprise us? Either a slow, comfortable screw or a screaming orgasm. Bartender's choice. I hear Greg's annoyed curse even over the beating bass surrounding us. I'm still laughing when Dee screams that our song is on. Come on, Iz, it's our song! Get up! Let's go shake it!
Every fucking song is your song, Dee.
Greg deadpans. Laughing, I spin around on my heels and run smack dab into a brick wall. Fuck, that hurt. I put my hands up and try to orient myself with my surroundings. I focus, or at least I try to. Wait a minute. Since when do brick walls have heartbeats? There is no way that is normal. What the hell kind of club is this? I squeeze my hands against the wall. Heated walls. Nice touch, but kind of pointless in a nightclub, if you ask me. I take a small step back and focus the best I can. I look up and up and up a little more. Finally, my eyes land on two laughing brown eyes. Since when do walls have eyes?
Whoa there, sugar,
the wall says. Huh? I'm confused as hell.
Beck, what's going on, brother?
Greg says from behind me, grabbing my hips and bringing me to his side. He throws that familiar arm over my shoulder.
I see you met my girl Izzy, this is Beck, one of the boys I was telling you about.
I can feel the smile in his words. Greg has talked about his boys often. I know he thinks of this group as more than friends. After all, when you fight alongside each other for so many years, trusting them with your lives, they become so much more than just people to you. A brotherhood with a bond so tight it is untouchable. I know he is over the moon to finally introduce these men to Dee and me. I come out of my wall fog long enough to glance up at Beck. He really is one handsome giant. He is at least a few inches over 6 feet, close to Greg's height and build. He has such strong features, a nose that looks like he has broken it a time or 10, and chocolate brown eyes that are twinkling with humor and have deep laugh lines crinkling the corners. He is obviously a man who smiles often. His brown hair is way overdue for a cut, but he makes it work. Really makes it work.
John Beckett, heard a lot about you, little lady. It's nice to finally meet you.
He's holding out his big paw for me to shake. It feels strange shaking his hand after basically being plastered over his body. Awkward. Izzy West, I fumble out. Dee must have just noticed our new arrival, because right in my ear I hear, "Who in the hot hunk of sex are you?" Leave it to Dee. She knows what she likes, and it looks like she likes Beck. Smiling, I turn to look at my friend, and oh yes, Dee is in lust heaven right now. I'm shocked she hasn't started panting and humping his leg. Turning back to Greg, I notice that 2 new hunks have joined the party. Since Dee is now busy with Beck, I sit back down and enjoy my drunken happiness. Greg turns, noticing my sitting down, and grabs a hold of my hand.
"Baby girl, this is Zeke Cooper and Maddox Locke. Boys, this is Izzy."
He introduces me with a huge smile. I haven't seen Greg this happy in a long time. I know he has been waiting for this moment, introducing 2 sets of his family to each other. I don't know much about these men outside the fact that they served with Greg in the Marines. It's my understanding that they work for the same security company in California, something they started up when they left the Marines. Greg couldn't wait to merge his company with theirs, turning cage investigation and security into a large-scale operation. "Hey, boys. Nice to look at ya," I tell them. Oh my God, did that just come out of my mouth? If they're twin smirks or anything to go by, it most certainly did. Shit. Does Greg only know hot guys? Both of these 2 easily top Greg's 6'3". They're giants to someone as vertically challenged as I am, and holy hell, they are nice to look at. Talk about easy on the eyes. Both men have bodies meant to be worshipped long and hard. Zeke has blonde hair clipped close to his scalp, eyes so blue that even in the club's dim lighting they look clear, and a blinding full smile with twin dimples on each side. He reminds me of a model straight from Abercrombie. He is the perfect vision of the boy next door. Maddox is his polar opposite. He has just as many muscles, but on him they look huge and imposing. His brown hair is longer than Zeke's, sporting that messy look like he was running his hands through it all day. Sex hair. His face is hard but friendly in a weird combination that just seems to work. But it is his eyes that hold me captive. They are so dark they look black and bottomless. I realize I have been sitting here eating them up with my eyes when I hear Greg clear his throat. Looking over at him, I see the biggest grin on his face. Thinking he's smiling at me, I give him one of my brightest smiles and start to turn around to properly introduce myself to his 2 friends. I am not exactly making the best first impression with these men. I open my mouth to speak when I hear Greg booming. Yes, booming.
"Reed, damn, it is good to see you again. Twice in one day. Must be my lucky day, you fucking bastard."
Jesus, there's another one of these men? Maybe this one will be short, fat, and balding. Huh? Not looking like that's possible with this cast of man candy. Even their names are hot. Beck, Zeke, Maddox, and Reed. I turn to my side, giving Dee a smile that I hope expresses how lucky we just became. She is still standing next to Beck, but her flirty smile is long gone. The look of shock and something else I can't name has taken over her face. What the fuck? She looks like she swallowed a damn fly and is looking right over my shoulder with her jaw on the floor. Damn, this one must be even hotter than the others. I make a mental note to discuss this with her later. I might be out of the game, but even I think that is a weird flirting technique. I finish my rotation and end up looking at the biggest chest I have ever seen in my life. If the boys before this one made me feel small, this man makes me feel like a damn midget. Well, I can understand her astonishment now. It isn't normal to be this large. How is his shirt even staying stitched at the seams? His arms are so big and powerful that they are currently testing the strength of his black button-down shirt, which is stretched across his massive shoulders and tucked neatly into the tight black dress slacks that are doing nothing to disguise the healthy-sized bulge. I shake myself off, mentally berating myself for going there. I fucked this complete stranger without even saying hello. Maybe I shouldn't have had that last drink. I look back up and meet the most stunning green eyes I have ever seen. Eyes I have seen before. Eyes I have spent hours gazing into, loving and planning. Eyes I have been mourning for the last 12 years. Feeling dizzy, I reach out to steady myself, catching the first thing I find, which I think might be Greg.
What the fuck?
He mumbles under his breath. This isn't happening. This can't be happening. He's gone. I know he is. If he wasn't, I wouldn't have just spent the last 12 years missing him so ferociously with every fiber of my being. The last thing I think before I feel my world spinning and crashing down on me is that Axel isn't gone. He isn't dead. I didn't lose the last part of him when his baby bled out of my body on my 18th birthday. And before I lose all touch with reality, I swear I hear,
"Are you fucking kidding me? Isabel? Is your goddamn is?"
I must be dreaming, because my Axel would never sneer my name with so much anger and hate. Chapter 5.
Baby.
I hear his deep voice seductively rumble as he trails his fingertips up my spine. God, I love how he wakes me up, always touching my skin like just the contact alone makes him feel whole. His hard body is pressed tightly to my own, keeping me snug and warm against his side.
Baby girl,
he croons in my ear, kissing the spot right behind it, the spot that never fails to make my body go from warm to boiling. Goosebumps instantly start to sprinkle against my skin. No one has ever set me on fire like he has. No one has ever loved me like he has. Axel, my love, my heart, my everything. I'm finally back in his strong arms. How did I get here? My heart skips a beat and my breath stalls in my lungs. It's all been a dream. It must have been. Just a terrible nightmare I never thought I would wake from. My parents are still alive. Axe isn't leaving me. Our baby is still safe within my womb. Everything is perfect. The enormity of this moment hits me like a Mack truck. Big, body-heaving sobs rack my body. He's here. My Axel is here. I am finally back in his arms.
Baby girl,
his voice says again, getting fainter like he is down a long hallway.
Izzy, baby girl, please wake up.
Why is Greg holding me? He shouldn't be here. This isn't right. Where is Axel? He was just right here. I don't want Greg. I want Axe. My crying intensifies, and I can feel his body tensing, trying to figure out how to calm me down. I can hear myself. I must sound ridiculous with my hysterical babble. I'm begging Greg, begging and pleading for him to take me back to Axel. I know I don't make any sense, but I just can't seem to figure out where reality is and where I left Axel in my fog. I want that dream back. I can't lose him again. I won't survive it a second time around. I eventually settle down to just a few shudders, my breath escaping my body. I try desperately to make sense of this situation. How did this happen? Looking around, I notice for the first time that we are in an office of sorts, and I'm sitting on a large leather couch pushed off to one end. Maddox is standing next to the door like a guard. His face has lost the small touch of friendliness he had before, and has now taken on a fierce look of pure rage. I look up at Greg with what I'm guessing is a face of pure confusion. He returns my look with a small, forced smile. I can hear Dee now that I have finally stopped my grief-filled sobbing. She sounds like she is a million miles away. She is muffled enough that I can't understand her words, but the venomous tone to her voice is clearly reaching my ears. Greg is still holding me tightly in his arms, whispering reassuring words in my ear. At least, I think they are reassuring. His tone is soft and slow, delicate. My mind can't catch them, though. I am still searching for Axel.
"Move the fuck out of my way, woman. I will not tell you again."
I hear the steel-like tone attached to the voice I haven't heard in so long. He sounds almost feral. That is not a tone I have ever heard his voice take.
"I will get back there. Do you fucking hear me, Isabel? I will be talking to you,
he continues to boom through the office door that Maddox is guarding. At the sound of my full name, my body goes rigid. I can feel every muscle individually seize up. Each bone seems to have turned to stone, and tremors are starting to work their way through my body. My heart picks up speed, and my breathing becomes shallow. No one has called me that in 2 years, and no one would dare. That was the name, the only name Brandon used with me, and it was almost always followed by his fist or foot. No one who knows me would use that name. The first time Dee called me that after I left Brandon, I had to be admitted to the hospital because I couldn't calm down. God, I can't breathe. I look up into Greg's worried eyes. I know what he sees when he looks down into mine. Absolute raw terror and fear. A fear that I am back in that place, and terror that Brandon has finally found me. Gasping to catch a small slice of oxygen down into my lungs, I start clawing at his arms, trying my hardest to get away. I have to run. I have to hide. If Brandon is here, he won't stop until he kills me this time.
Fuck, Greg spits out. Motherfucking fuck.
He's pulling me closer to his body, trying with great desperation to calm me down. I try to soak up his warmth the best I can, attempting to almost crawl inside his body, but none of it is touching me. I feel like my body is being filled with ice, filling me completely to my soul with ice-cold fear. I can almost drown in the memory-induced terror. It is completely taking over my body and mind.
Fuck,
Greg rumbles again. He sounds so worried. I wish I had the words to reassure him that I'm okay, but what a laughable reassurance that would be. We both know I am not okay. I am so far from okay, I might as well be in another country. I haven't had an episode like this in a long time, not since the early months after leaving Brandon. I have been doing so well at beating back the panic and finally seeing the light of peace. In fact, yesterday's breakdown after the present from hell was the first time I have felt the claws of fear take hold in months.
Look, come here, man. Hold her for a second so I can go bash that motherfucker in the goddamn head.
Greg softly throws his request over to Maddox. I guess he has had enough of watching me come unglued. It can't be easy for him to watch the after-effects of a beaten and broken woman. After he first witnessed one of my panic attacks, I remember he wouldn't leave for days. He kept his hawk-like eyes trained on my every move, just waiting for me to crumble. I feel my body being lifted and then set down within a new set of steel bands. Maddox hooks one arm around my shoulder and pulls me to his chest, taking my legs and pulling them up close to my body before wrapping his other arm in tight. I feel almost infantile in his arms as he starts to hum a slow tune. I never expected him and his hard exterior to be so understanding and nurturing. Finally, feeling some of the panic recede, I take what feels like my first gulp of air in hours, willing my heart to settle. Maybe it's his warmth or the way this big, hard man curled me in tight and started to softly sing under his breath. Maybe it's just the fact that I don't want this new person to see how completely fucked up I am. But he finally calms me down enough to feel the stress and exhaustion of the situation start taking over. Looking up, I meet the concerned dark depths of Maddox's eyes.
You okay, girl?
No, I whisper back to him. What an absurd question. If I could, I would belt out one hell of a laugh. I don't think I will ever be okay again. I tuck my head back down onto Maddox's chest and hope for a miracle.
You have got to be fucking kidding me. What are the odds, after this long? Isabel fucking West. I am still at a loss over this new intel. My goddamn Izzy is Greg's friend who needs help? No, that's not right. She isn't mine anymore. She stopped being mine when she couldn't wait for me, couldn't hold on for just a few months. She stopped being mine the day I finally found her, married to another fucking man. Fuck. How is it possible that the Isabel I knew all those years ago is the same woman Greg gave me the rundown on yesterday? He described a scared, innocent, and very broken woman. The Izzy I knew would never let a person break her spirit. Hell, in the 3 years she was my girl, even I had a hard time keeping that spirit from overtaking me. She was so full of life and happiness. No fucking way this is the same girl. When Greg called me yesterday to have a chat, he explained that his girl was in trouble, and not the kind of trouble a girl needs to be in. I didn't have the time yesterday to sit down and get the details. Being in the middle of moving across the country and setting up shop with Greg, things are insane. I had finally handed over the West Coast operations of core security just a few days ago, quickly jumping in my truck and heading east. I had bought my house quickly, and we had just signed the lease on the new office space. Now all that is left is getting set up with Greg and becoming familiar with his caseload. There is an endless backlog of people requesting consultations for investigative work. Luckily, it hasn't taken much to convince Locke, Beck, and Coop to pick up and start over in Georgia with me. During our quick meeting yesterday, he filled me in on the very hazy issue. He had a good friend escaping a bad marriage. How bad, I don't yet know. She has been living here for about 2 years, and during the last 6 months has been having a back-and-forth battle for divorce. The bastard doesn't want to let go. Greg said that it hasn't been a big issue until yesterday, when she got a fucked-up picture in the mail. He explained it to me. The ex sounds like one sick fuck, and enough of a threat for me to tell him to set something up. He didn't tell me her whole name. He called her Iz. I remember snorting humorlessly at the name yesterday. But yesterday, the last thing I thought was that Iz could possibly be one and the same Isabel West. I've known Greg for close to a decade now. I still remember a few years ago when he called up, telling us he had to run to North Carolina and be some white fucking night. I don't remember the details, even though I wish to fuck I did. I just remember him going radio silent for almost a month after. He has always talked about his 2 girls here in Georgia. The guys and I have been giving him a hard time for a while now about handing over his nuts since he liked hanging with pussy so much. He has always spoken about these 2 chicks like they are fucking queens. Goddamn motherfucking Teresas. I honestly don't think I have ever heard him say a negative thing about either one of them. Such bullshit. This little scrap of female is blocking the club owners off his door like she would take out any threat that tried to get through her to try and reach Isabel. Where the hell is the small sprite Greg said radiated glee like a fucking fairy? "Fuck!" I roared. "Get out of my goddamn way, woman!" How does this tiny one-woman circus think she is going to fucking keep me from breaking that door into splinters? I look over at Coop and Beck. They seem just as confused as I am about this whole standoff. Jesus, I am getting in that damn office, even if I have to physically remove this woman from my path. I'm tired of playing nice. I might not have a mother, but even I know how to respect women. This one, though, would try the patience of a fucking saint. Just when I am about to pick her up and remove her from my way, the door opens and out steps a red-faced, spitting-mad Greg Cage. "You!" He points at my chest, getting right up in my fucking space. "Get the fuck out of here. You might be bigger than I am, but when it comes to her, I will fucking kill you." What the fuck? The hell with that. "Who the fuck do you think you are, brother, telling me that I can't speak to her?" I can feel the vibration of unshed violence rushing through my veins. Even with the small thought in the back of my head that I would do the same thing in his shoes, I still can't calm myself. He takes a deep breath, looks me dead in the eyes, and spits out words that almost stop my heart. "If you don't back the fuck off right fucking now, Iz will end up leaving here in the back of an ambulance. Again." The fuck? What the hell are you talking about, Greg? Because it sure as fuck sounds like you're talking in code. Sighing deeply, I can tell how much this little toe-to-toe is costing him. "Look, Reed, you know I respect the hell out of you. You have been my brother for a fucking long-ass time. But she is not in a good place right now." Yesterday was hard enough, but Dee and I have managed to keep her chill. Fuck, even with the package from that sick fuck, she didn't go this deep. You need to back the fuck off for now. If you want to speak to her, fine, but it will be on her terms, not when she is fighting every demon that owns her soul. Not tonight. You hear me good, Reed. I will talk to her and set something up, but not until you tell me just how you know my fucking girl. What do you mean, your girl, G? I must be acting like a fucking idiot, especially after all his long-winded bullshit. Greg is gaping at me like he is trying to find a solution for world peace or some shit like that. He holds my gaze for a long while, and I can practically see the gears turning at full steam. Finally, with an eerily neutral tone, he says, "Reed, just how long have you known Iz?" He might sound neutral, but his eyes seem to be silently communicating that if he doesn't like my answer, there will be no talking with Izzy. I look down at my boots and reach up to rub my neck, trying to ease some of the tension out of my body. What a loaded question. Why does it matter, G? Humor me, brother. Just fucking humor me. How long have you known her? Straightening to my full 6'6" height, trying to at least give myself that small advantage, I look down on him with a matching grim expression. What the hell is going on here? They are acting like Lizzie is some wounded bird. No way in hell this is the same girl I know. I've known Isabel for going on 16 years, and 12 years ago when I left home, I left my heart in her fucking palm. I haven't seen or heard from her since. I respond with a calm I do not feel, not in the least. Greg's eyes fire instantly, and after a moment of silence he grunts. Do not call her Isabel. Ever. Then he turns on his heel and leaves me standing in stunned silence with Beck's, Coop's, and Dee's burning eyes on my back. With the exception of Dee, they seem just as confused and shocked as I am. What in the fuck? Looking around, I back up and plop my ass down on the hard floor, preparing to wait this out as long as it takes. I've been sitting out here in the hallway for what seems like hours. My ass is numb. Whether it's from sitting here or the music thumping through the floor beneath me, I have no clue. I look down at my watch to see that it's only been a half hour since Greg's cryptic comment. What the fuck is going on in there? I don't like this overwhelming feeling of helplessness. I haven't felt this way in a long-ass time. I have no idea what is really going on here. I feel like I have some big-ass puzzle with one missing piece. One piece some little shit took and won't give back. What happened to the 17-year-old, stars-in-her-eyes girl I left behind 12 years ago? Sure, she was sad I was taking off for basic training, but she knew I was coming back for her. We had plans, dreams, and a future all mapped out and ready to roll. Why is she acting like the wounded party here? She wasn't the one who arrived home 6 months later, tired but elated to finally have his girl in his arms again, only to find her gone. And she was gone, vanished into thin fucking air. There was not a single trail to lead me back to my girl. I remember the day I rolled back into our hometown of Dale, Georgia. I was so excited to finally get my arms around my girl. Things with the Marines had been intense, but I was home for a little while. I had a new family now, a band of brothers with an unbreakable bond. I couldn't wait to bring Izzy into that fold, making my family complete. Basic training was nothing like I'd expected it to be. I'd known I would be the perfect candidate for the Marines when I signed up. I'd just never imagined excelling at such a rapid rate. Arriving one day, then the next being pulled into a conference room and being handed one hell of a life-changer. I was good, damn fucking good, and they wanted me. Only problem was, like with most everything deep within the government, I wasn't to tell a soul. Top secret to the highest degree. I received my first letter from Izzy the same day, reminding me how hard it was going to be to go dark on my girl. She knew me, though, and she knew what this gig meant to me. I wrote her one hell of a hearts and flowers letter and mailed it off the same day I left for special training, knowing it would have to see her through until I was home. When I finally got a call home, I had been gone for 3 long, hard months. I can still feel the shock I felt when the operator informed me that her number had been disconnected. With no one to ask, I just had to pray that my girl knew me and knew our love enough to be there when I came back to her. I couldn't worry. I had to have my head about me. So with all the hope of a naive teenage dreamer, I believed everything would be fine. Izzy and I, we were what some would call a fairy tale, if you believed in that shit. I met her the first day of my sophomore year. She had been a scared little freshman, a fish completely out of the water and terrified out of her mind. But did she let it show? No, not my Izzy. She marched right into Dale High with her shoulders back and her head high. Her pale green eyes were trained right ahead, ready to take on the world. And I had taken one look and knew she would be mine. From that moment on, she was mine and I was hers. She came from a great family. Her parents were the kind a kid dreams of, accepting everyone and anyone, regardless of where they came from. They didn't mind that their only child, their only daughter, had fallen in love with a foster kid from the wrong side of the tracks. She loved me, so they did too. I was shocked when I learned about their deaths. Adam and Holly West were amazing people, and I knew Izzy had to be feeling that deep. In my love-soaked mind, I still believed she was waiting. Now I just wondered where that was. I knew she had some extended family, but no one seemed to know where they lived. And trust me, I asked. All of her friends just said that she had been devastated. When they had spoken to her at the service for her parents, she'd been silent. They said that she had turned completely into herself, like a zombie. She'd just sat there and looked off into space. That killed me more than anything, knowing she had been hurting and alone. I became frantic in my search. I had just a little time before I had to return to training. The only thing I was able to find out was that she was in North Carolina or South Carolina, living with her mom's parents. Only problem was no one knew her mother's maiden name. With no more answers and my time back home gone, I headed back to base, confused, but still determined to find her. I didn't catch a break for 4 long years. I had pulled every string I had and every penny I didn't to find her. When I got the news, I felt like I had been shot straight through the fucking heart. Married. Isabel West Hunter had been married just 4 months earlier. My info was light, but I was assured that she looked happy and healthy. From that point on, my heart was completely closed to anyone, locked in a fireproof safe and sunk to the deepest depths in my body. I wouldn't make that mistake again. No one would be making me a fool for caring, especially not a bitch like Isabel West.
Chapter 6. At some point, I must have fallen asleep against Maddox. His arms haven't let up their strong hold. I woke up about 10 minutes ago when Greg came storming back in the office. He hasn't stopped pacing since. What is going on now? I know we're still at Carnal. I can hear a faint thump of the bass coming up from the floor below us. The buzz I was enjoying is long gone, packed off and headed to Mexico with a one-way ticket. Maddox is a quiet man. He keeps his soothing humming and vice grip, but the quiet is what I need. He isn't forcing me to talk, even though I know he must have questions. He has to think I am certifiable. 1 second I'm smiling and the next fainting at his feet. As far as first impressions go, I think that one will be lasting. Greg finally stops his pacing and muttering and looks over at me. I can see the anger bleed off of his face. Instantly, calm and understanding finally dawn.
Come here, baby girl.
A new sob bubbles up as I quickly climb off of Maddox and rush forward into Greg's protective arms. I can't even count how many times this man has been my rock, my strength and support, picking up my pieces and not stopping until he has successfully glued each piece back together.
I hear the door click and immediately straighten from my folded position on the floor. The look of pure wrath in Locke's eyes has me pausing before completing my way up from my seat. He is not a man who shows emotion, ever. Fuck, I can't even remember the last time I was able to tell what he was thinking, let alone what he was feeling. There is no question right now, though. He is throwing fire right into my eyes. It didn't take much of a leap to reason that he was pissed at me. Yeah, well, get in line, motherfucker. I just marginally calmed myself down over the last 45 minutes or so. For the most part, I'm over my initial anger. I feel reasonably sure that I'm calm enough to be in the same room with the only girl I have ever loved and try to hear her out. My mind demands answers. I want to know why. Why she didn't wait. Why she had married another. No, my calm isn't going to come back completely. I'm still worked up for another reason altogether, and it has nothing to do with anger. I can't get over seeing her stunning face. The face that has consumed my dreams and haunted my memories for way too fucking long. Even with my rage at seeing her openly touching the men I consider brothers, I still couldn't stop my dick from trying to break out of my pants. All it took was one look at her tight, sexy-as-sin body, wearing next to nothing, and I found myself having to immediately adjust myself. So hard, my dick was aching in a way I haven't felt in many years. I didn't even know who she was then, and the attraction was that strong, just like it always had been. When I walked up to the bar, coming up on that firm ass encased in skin-tight red fabric, I turned feral. I was like a raging bull being set free with one target in sight. My eyes traced her spine, each delicate little bump on her exposed skin, and my only thought was getting her to a bed and following that line with my tongue until I was buried deep between her creamy thighs. And then she turned around, and I froze in my tracks. Lust left in a snap, and instead of rushing this hot piece of ass off to the nearest empty room, I wanted to throw her over my shoulder, drag her off, and demand answers. I have been waiting for this moment for 12 long fucking years. The last thing I'd expected her to do, if I ever saw her again, was faint to the floor. "What the fuck are you glaring at, Locke?" I spit out at him. I don't feel like dealing with more of this bullshit. I'm just itching for a fight now. "I'm looking right at you, motherfucker. It shouldn't take a big leap of clue the fuck in for you to realize I'm looking right at your dumb fucking ass." He snarls at me with such ferocity that I'm momentarily rendered speechless. "What the hell? Is there a reason you seem to think I pissed all over your shit?" He looks right at me, cocking his head to the side, and I find myself shocked on my ass once again tonight when he opens his mouth. "I just sat in there and held some chick I do not know, a chick who not even an hour ago looked like she was on top of the fucking world, happy with life and spending time with her friends. Her smile died. Do you understand that, Reed? One look into your eyes and that big bright smile just died. The life went completely out of her eyes and her body gave out. Do you fucking get that? I just sat there and let her basically crawl into my fucking body with nothing but fear oozing out of her. Fear you seem to have put there. That happy woman from earlier is long fucking gone, and I would love to know how you are the reason." Shock holds me silent. Shock and confusion. Sniffling to my left distracts me, and I glance over at Dee. She is looking at me with part confusion, part anger, and a whole lot of hurt. Shaking my head, I look back over at Locke. "I couldn't fucking tell you, since I haven't seen or heard from her in 12 years. Bitch up and disappeared. So if you want answers, you are asking the wrong fucking person." "Excuse me? This is the chick who left you? The same one you claim is a cold, heartless bitch? Because I have to say, Reed, the woman who just broke the fuck down in my arms is not a cold, heartless bitch. That woman is feeling the weight of the world on her shoulders." "What the fuck are you talking about? This is the same shit with Greg, talking yourselves in goddamn circles. Maybe if you want me to buy a fucking vowel, you could give me a fucking hint." I roar right back at him. "All right, you want to know what the fuck I'm talking about? There is a woman in there who looks like her world just ended. She looked like she had seen a ghost, lost and scared. So scared she is shaking. She was trembling so violently she would have fallen to the ground had I let her go. So I will ask you one more fucking time. You sure that is the chick who left you?" I hear another gasp off to my side. Swear to Christ, this bitch needs to calm her tits. What the hell does it matter now, huh? It's been 12 fucking years. I don't think 2 fucking minutes of her time is too much to ask. I'm sure her husband wouldn't mind. I know I'm shooting low, but I am so livid I can't even see without red closing in my vision. Another gasp at my side. I look over at Dee. Are you fucking okay? Her jaw is opening and closing repeatedly. She looks like a damn fish out of the water struggling to breathe. I do not have time for this shit. Seriously, do you need something? Water, a chair, a fucking Midol? Her mouth snaps shut and a thin line forms before she marches right into my space, coming up on her toes in an attempt to meet me eye to eye. Listen here, you big bully. You will not sit here and be a little shit. You have no clue what is going on, but I promise you this. It is bigger than your need to chat. Do you understand me? She follows that burst with a few pokes to my chest. No, little girl, I do not fucking understand you, not one little bit. So maybe your ass can clue a bastard in? I feel like the walls around us could have fallen with that burst of anger from me. Any second my head is going to explode. I can feel it now. Sighing softly, washing the frustration and anger off her face and looking up at me with sympathy, she says, I can't, Axel. This isn't my story to tell. Wait a minute. How do you know my name? I haven't gone by Axel in a long fucking time, sweetheart, so if anyone knows what's going on, my guess would be you. Of course I know what's happening, but like I said, this isn't my story to tell. She points over at the closed door. It's hers. It always has been. I just never thought I would see the day it would need to be told. Again with that cryptic shit. I feel like I just walked into the Twilight Zone. Shaking my head in exasperation, even with my confusion, I can't stop the rage that bubbles up every time I think about just who we are fighting over. All right, fine, don't fucking tell me. But let me ask you this. Does her fucking husband know she is out dressed like that, flirting with anything that speaks to her? I can't stop the shit that is slinging from my mouth at this point, and I'm past the point of caring what I'm saying. The only thing I'm seeing at this moment is that report I read 8 years ago that told me my girl hadn't waited. You son of a bitch, she sneers at me. Before I can even register what is about to happen, I catch a small hand right over my cheek. Damn, that bitch is strong for such a little thing. Before righting my head, I spit the little bit of blood her slap created onto the floor. I look over at her shocked face. What the fuck was that for? I rumble. Looking past her, I see Beck and Locke with shocked eyes and fucking smirks on their faces. Coop lets out a loud laugh before quickly stifling it. It looks like she isn't the only one thinking I deserved that for some unknown reason. Oh, shit, I am not sorry for that. Get that straight right now. But you need to watch your mouth and what you say about Iz. Until you know what's going on, you have no room to say anything, not one damn thing. I am at a complete loss right now. Obviously, I will not be getting anywhere with this crew tonight. They seem to have decided to band together to protect the little coward hiding behind locked doors. Reaching behind me and pulling out my wallet, I take out one of my cards and hold it out to Iz's protector. Here, give her this and have her call me. I'll tell her, but I won't make any promises to you. If you understood what you are asking of me, well, you would just understand where I'm coming from. I open my mouth to rip her a new one when I hear the office door click again. The first thing I see is a pair of the sexiest fuck-me shoes I have ever laid eyes on, followed by the hottest fucking legs ever to wrap around my hips, and Greg motherfucking Cage holding the body that belongs to them. Nestled tightly to his body, covered in his jacket, is a sleeping Izzy. His jacket covers every inch from her chin to her thighs, but I know what's under there. Sex. Pure sex. I can tell she's been crying. The tear streaks covering her cheeks are a dead giveaway. Her eyes are swollen and rimmed red. Even with all that, she is still the most beautiful girl in the world to me. My arms itch to snatch her away from him, to claim what is mine. Even with all my anger, I still want her. I stand there completely knocked immobile, just looking at her, taking her all in. Greg completely ignores me like I'm not even standing there in front of him. He looks down at Dee and softly says, She finally calmed down about 10 minutes ago. Let's get her home, yeah? Sure, G. Let me go get the bouncer to open the side door. They already have your truck parked back there, so we don't have to take her through the front. she weakly responds, looking completely trampled. It seems like everyone knows what is going on right now. Everyone except me. No one thought to clue the poor sap in to what exactly caused this scene. The biggest question floating around my skull is not where she has been and why she left. No, I want to know what happened to my Izzy, the girl who wouldn't let a fucking thing knock her down. I see Beck and Coop off to the side, walking off with Dee to find the magical bouncer with the keys, leaving me standing with Locke, Greg, and Izzy. Both of them are looking at me like I am the bad guy here. I just wish I knew what I'd done to earn those looks of contempt.
I open my eyes when I feel someone lay me down, opening them long enough to see Greg looking down at me with his brow creased. Noting how exhausted he looks, it takes me a second, but then I remember and quickly sit up. I'm home in my room. Glancing over at my clock, I see that it's closing in on 4 in the morning. How did I get home, G? Where is Dee? Pausing, I gasp up at him. Oh my God! Was he really there? Axel? Cursing softly under his breath, he looks away. I can tell he's trying to school his response, weigh his words. He always seems to worry that I'm going to slip back into that dark place I was in when he found me. I won't lie, sometimes I do too, but I can't have him treating me with kid gloves all the time. Greg, please, please just be honest with me, I beg of him.
Baby girl, I just don't know what to say. If I'd any idea that the Axel you told me about was Reed.
He trails off, looking back off into space. I have no idea what is going through his head, but if I know Greg, he is riding the guilt train hard. What? You would have made him come to me? Little too late for that, G. He had his chance to come to me years ago, years. It's not like I didn't let him know how to find me. I left my grandparents' address with his foster mother. I was waiting. I waited for years, and I would have waited forever, but where was he, huh? Where was he when I needed him? All those times I needed him. That's right. Gone. I can feel the tightness of anger forming in my gut. I thought he was dead this whole time. You know this, Greg. I've thought for 12 long years that the boy I loved was gone forever. 12 years of feeling empty, lost, and so unbelievably alone. I'm crying again, and I just can't seem to stop. The weight of Axel's return is so heavy. I needed him so badly. You know I went back to see June, his foster mother, about a year ago. I just wanted to make sure, as stupid as that is. You know what she told me? She told me he was in a better place without me. How was I supposed to take that? Greg gets back up and starts his pacing again. I have no idea what's going through his mind right now, but I can tell he is struggling with it. He knows all about my past with the infamous Axel. I remember one very bad night for me, about 6 months after I left Brandon. We were watching movies. I have no idea which movie. It was something stupid and cheesy. I remember watching the actors promise to love each other forever, that nothing would ever tear them apart. And then I lost it. I threw my wine glass at the TV, screeching and screaming about how everyone leaves and nothing is forever. Greg had to forcefully hold me down until I was able to calm myself. He sat there holding me still for almost 2 hours. When I finally stopped thrashing around, he sat me down and demanded I talk. I told him everything from the day I met Axel at 14 to the day he left when I was 17. I told him about every single wonderful memory we had shared within those 3 years. Then I told him about my parents, the baby, and then the parties. He knew about the deep devastation I'd felt when I had lost and lost and lost some more. He knew how and when I'd met Brandon, rich, successful, and handsome Brandon. He knew how vulnerable I had been when he walked into my life and scooped me up, unbeknownst to me that he was the devil in disguise. Greg knew everything there was to know about me, but with everything I had shared, not once had I told him Axel's last name. I'm guessing this little bombshell was quite a hit for him. Being ex-military, he always sympathized with the Axel I had told him about. He would always tell me that Axel wouldn't want me to be in pain over him, and what a strong and heroic person he must have been. Lies. All fucking lies. Axel didn't die a hero. He lived a betrayer. All the dreams that we had, promises we had made, they all seemed like the biggest slap in the face now. I have mourned the loss of him and the loss of us for so long. He was the only reason I survived at the hands of Brandon. I would just close myself off and think of him in the times we had together. He was my salvation in the darkest of dark. You know what? It doesn't matter. How can he possibly explain this, G? I can't go there anymore. I can't go back there. Not with him. Nothing he can say will heal the wounds he inflicted. Defeat and overwhelming melancholy have taken root.
I don't know what his reasons are. I don't feel like this was intentional, baby girl. I really don't. I talked to him. I saw his face, and he seemed completely clueless. I don't even think he has put together that you're the person I talked to him about yesterday. There's something missing. I just can't figure out what it is.
Clueless, Greg? Are you kidding me right now?
No, baby girl. And as much as it pains me to say this, I really think you two need to sit down and talk.
What? No way, Greg, no. I have nothing to say to him, not one thing. Did you see how mad he was? I didn't even see his face, but I could hear it. I could feel it. He's acting like I did something horrid. What is so horrible about loving someone?
I don't know, I just think there's something to be said about closure. For both of you.
Closure? I laughed to myself as I lie back against the headboard. This man has lost his fucking marbles if he thinks I can or want to have a sit-down with Axel. I can't. I just can't. This must be some cruel joke from above. I knew I was onto something when I stopped praying. No one who throws so much shit at someone should be trusted. Haven't I been through enough? I just started to feel normal again. Hell, I just stopped seeing my therapist a month ago. Just go, G, please. Just go. I turn over, pull the sheets over my head, and cry softly into my pillow. I hear the door shut and heavy-booted feet stomping down the hall, followed by soft murmurings. Just when I'm about to fall asleep, I feel slender arms wrap around me, holding me tight. Love you, Iz. We will get through this. These reassuring words are the last thing I hear before I fall into a restless sleep, hoping for some peace to be found.